So I saw the movie Hereditary the other day, and it was really good. This is going to be a non-spoiler, whatever you want to call it. It's not a review, but I'm just going to talk about the movie for uh, probably not very long because I don't have that much to say other than it's really good. It was really good. The Toni Collette is fucking phenomenal in this movie. She's like batshit crazy at points. And I bought it. I completely. It never felt like overacting. Mostly because, partially because her acting is so good and she just sells it on a visceral level in her performance, but also because the writing and directing and everything around her and everything providing the contexts for some of her crazier scenes is just really solid and really like well thought out and I don't know if I would say realistic, but it realistic on a sort of a human level, not plot wise necessarily, because it is sort of a spooky horror movie, But yeah, and there's the other guy, the kid that's the son, Alex Wolf. Alex Wolf from the Naked Brothers band. Great, great show. I'm sure you remember it. He's really good. He's really good. He has a lot of reaction, like acting, where he doesn't have lines, but the camera's on him, and some crazy shit happens, and the way he reacts is it's fantastic. He can. There's one scene in the film in particular. I won't say what it is, but there, and you might be hearing this from other people who are, also kind of ambiguously talking about this one scene in the movie. There's one scene in the movie where my jaw was like on the floor for like what felt like a few minutes. I don't know how long it was, but his acting, he's in the scene, so sorry if that's a spoiler, but his acting in that scene is is it just really sold it for me. What else can I say? Movie doesn't have a lot of jump scares, but there's always tension. The sound design and the music is like really good. It's just there's always feels like something's a little off, or there's always a feeling of anticipation in a sort of a negative, like anxiety inducing way. But there aren't a lot of jump scares, from what I remember at least. It's not that kind of movie. Trying to think what else. The only thing I didn't like about the end, the only thing I didn't like about the movie, like, and it's not that I hated it, but I just didn't love it as much as it was a little bit of a letdown, was the ending. And in hindsight, the more time that passes since I've seen the movie, and the more I like read stuff about it and replay the movie in my head to the best of my ability, the more the ending is sort of growing on me. Like I really got to see this movie again because it the reason it's so good is other than that it's just really everything it tries to do it does really well on sort of a technical and basic creative, like the directing and cinematography and all the acting and the writing are all really, really solid. But I think that it's some horror movies, even good, really good horror movies like Get Out, for instance, or even like It. They're they're kind of not that scary, or like definitely like It. I didn't, I love It. I'm like obsessed with It, but it's not that scary. But I love that movie because again, it's very well made, it's well written, etc. It's well acted. Um, and the but like it has a lot of humor in it, and so does Get Out. They're both two very well made horror movies that keep your attention for a lot of the runtime with humor, or kind of somewhat lighthearted, quirky dialogue and human interaction, right? Character interaction. Hereditary is like, instead of it being like a comedy mixed with horror, or like a lot of horror movies are like, you know, like a bad, it's like a bad comedy mixed with horror elements, and but instead of being either of those things, Hereditary is like a serious family drama that is well acted, and again very serious and very dark, even if nothing horror related, even if nothing spooky and horror movie like happened in this film, it would be a very dark, disturbing movie. And so then on top of that, you add this horror element. And I think that's what makes it so good and so kind of dread inducing. It's really kind of it's a dirty movie. And I don't mean that as a criticism. It's just really kind of mean in terms of what it does to the characters, and you having to, and you kind of being there with them, experiencing things from their point of view. Yeah, so it's not dirty in like a cheap way. It's not torture porn by any means. There's a little bit of violence and gore, but it's mostly just a really well made family drama that gets really fucked up, and then just keeps getting more and more fucked up and becomes like crazy by the end. And really, the ending, I know I said I was disappointed with the ending, but the hindsight thing, where it keeps, the more I think of it, I like it more and more, or I'm more and more used to it or something. That really, at this point, the ending doesn't really bother me. Just when I was sitting in the theater, I was a little bit, all this stuff happens and it leads to a point, A to B to C to D, and then you get to the end, the last shot, and it's kind of like, I was like, what? Wow, this has turned into an 8-minute video of me fucking rambling on about Hereditary. Well, I think that's all I gotta say. Everyone in the cast is really good. I know I highlighted Tony Collette and Alex Wolff, but everyone in the cast is really good. The little girl is she's really creepy, and the dad's kind of like a neutral character. I think it's good to have kind of like a neutral, sane character that's not he's not as he just doesn't go through as much of the crazy horror stuff necessarily throughout the parts of the film as Tony Collette and Alex Wolff, and even the the daughter girl, whatever, Millie Shapiro or something. Probably fucking up her name, but yeah, I hope I didn't give too much away, too many details or anything. I hope this counts as non-spoiler. Yeah, you should go see it. You should go see it. Just know that it's kind of a different type of horror movie. It's kind of, here's what I'll say. It's kind of like the Babadook, the Babadook was good, but I felt like it didn't deliver on its horror elements, and I feel like Hereditary is like that movie, but it does deliver on the horror elements. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up because we're reaching 10 minutes here. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I am not editing it at all, so sorry that I was like pausing and shit.